Welcome to the Careers at Council Talent Attraction What Do You Do at Council webinar series. My name is Gabrielle Johnston and I'm the Human Resources Advisor at Local Government New South Wales, and I'll be your host today. We're excited to have you all join us for an exciting and engaging session. Please note we have all the cameras and microphones turned off just to avoid any distractions and background noise. Before we begin our webinar today, I would like to acknowledge the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation and all the traditional custodians of this land in which we meet today, and pay my respect to the elders past, present and future. Our webinar today is focusing on promoting a career journey from a traineeship to a role in HR. And I'm pleased to welcome today our guest speaker, Evelyn Bower, People and Culture Assistant Talent at Tamworth Regional Council. Welcome, Evelyn. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me.
So Evelyn's experience and insight will undoubtedly provide us with a deeper understanding of a traineeship career journey within local government. Before we dive into the Q&A with Evelyn, I will share a PowerPoint and just share a little bit more information of Careers at Council. Bear with me and I'll just bring up the PowerPoint now. Wonderful. So hopefully everyone can now see the PowerPoint. And just to provide a bit of an overview of Careers at Council, Careers at Council is where we just explore the diverse opportunities and rewarding pathways available for those who are passionate about making a positive impact in local communities. And it's an initiative of the State and Territory Local Governments Association. So it's created by councils for councils. And it was established to inform and attract local government's future workforce, but it is much more than a jobs board. So you can access Careers at Council through our website, whether this be on a laptop, desktop or smartphone. And Careers at Council also does have a dedicated LinkedIn and Facebook page, as well as an active YouTube channel for sharing various jobs in local government. Looking just to provide you with a brief overview of the Careers at Council website, there is an entry-level tab that provides a range of information on graduate positions, cadetships, apprenticeships, traineeships, as well as providing a link to current apprenticeships and traineeship job opportunities that are available. And then putting this in the context of local government, apprenticeships are a great way to get a trade qualification and work at the same time, and then usually take 3 to 4 years to complete, and are available for school leavers or adults re-entering the workforce or perhaps changing careers. And then traineeships offer paid work and training that leading to a national qualification upon completion. And these can take usually 1 to 2 years depending on the level of qualification. And for traineeships, there are over 300 qualifications available for council staff, which is great. Now looking at Careers at Councils and a bit of the job board, the performance data confirms that there's been more than 10,000 jobs posted today. And this spans across the 14 unique career areas, and currently there's 619 active jobs. If you are looking for a traineeship, you can do a custom search in the keyword, and you'll see opportunities available in local government. And to explore the 14 career areas at local council, they are available on the platform, and you'll discover the wide range of roles and opportunities that are tailored to skill levels and interests, but they all contribute to the betterment of our community. And then to hear from people working in council, you can check out the employee stories, which are insights and experiences shared by council employees, giving you more of a glimpse into what it's like to work in local government. as well as there's employee testimonies that highlight personal experiences, career growth, skill development, and community engagement. And these testimonies do provide job seekers with a better understanding of the diverse and rewarding career opportunities available in local government, and how they can make a meaningful difference in their communities by working for a council. To join the Careers at Council community, it's a great way to explore jobs and connect with local government roles all across Australia. You can sign up for job alerts, attend our webinar series such as this, view the vodcasts, read employee stories, and also apply for jobs. So we do encourage you to connect with us on social media to become a part of the Careers at Council community. You can register to receive job alerts from the sign-in page or the register page, as you can see a screenshot on the slide. You can also provide feedback via the feedback section, and at the bottom of the page is where you can access all the different sections on the website. Now, this will be all from me, thank you, and we'll now look and hear what Evelyn has to share about her career journey. I will stop my sharing now and to focus on us. Wonderful. And I do note before we jump into the Q&A with Evelyn, there is a Q&A feature, so we encourage you to put any questions in there, and then we'll answer those at the end of the webinar. So Evelyn, again, thank you for joining us. Just to start, if you could tell us a little bit about your journey into people and culture, what drew you to this field initially?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for the presentation too. That was really good. So it actually all started with my dad, Jeff. So my dad actually played a key role in the development and implementation of the people and culture team at his workplace. And growing up, I would often go to Dad's office, and that is where my initial interest started. So I got to see and appreciate the dealings with people and the importance of building those relationships. So I've always sort of thought of myself as a very people-orientated person, and seeing my dad's work really increased my passion for wanting to work in people and culture. So when the opportunity of a traineeship in people and culture came up at Tamworth Regional Council, to be honest, I thought I'd be silly not to go for it. And turns out that taking that risk was the best thing that I've done for my career. And so the duration of my traineeship, was 2 years, in which time I completed a certificate in human resource management. In the first 12 months of my traineeship, I was in the recruitment space, and I got to sit on interview panels, shortlist, advertise roles, liaise with candidates and stakeholders, and much more. Recruitment's a very large space.
Yes.
And in the second year, the second year I transitioned into the learning and development space, where I assisted with coordinating training for the organisation. And through my experience, I realised that recruitment was my passion, and I absolutely fell in love with it. At the end of last year, so 2024, I was accepted for a permanent role as the People and Culture Assistant in recruitment. So that was a very big achievement for me. Yeah, worked very hard to get that, so I was very happy. And now I assist with all things admin. I organise and attend any careers events. I manage our work experience program and our candidate care program, and also assist with our recruitment team with whatever they need. So that can sometimes be sitting on interview panels, opening roles, things like that. So yeah, very fast-paced environment, but I absolutely love it.
Yes, yeah. And I guess being able to test two different parts of people and culture would have been helpful, because I mean, yeah, when you're first entering the workforce, it can, hard to know
absolutely.
what it's like.
I think you need that
and
exposure, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And then what would be some of the most valuable lessons you learned during your 2-year traineeship at Tamworth Regional Council?
So I think the biggest thing I learned during my traineeship was to take opportunities as they come and step outside your comfort zone. I've done a lot of things during my traineeship, like public speaking, presenting, networking, even being on the radio at one stage, just to name a few. And these are all things that were very much outside of my comfort zone, but they have led to amazing other opportunities, such as being on this webinar today. And I've learned that you just never know where things might take you. And while I still get nervous for these things, I definitely feel a lot more confident enough in my abilities as well. And I know that all I can do is my best. And I also have to thank, my team in Tamworth Regional Council. They trusted me to do a lot of different things, and gave me exposure to the different areas of people and culture. So without them, I wouldn't have this confidence, I suppose, to be able to take that step and try different things.
Yeah, no, getting exposure is great, especially early on in our careers.
Yes.
And you mentioned earlier that you've developed a strong passion for recruitment. What aspects of the recruitment process do you find most rewarding?
Yeah, so look, I genuinely enjoy the end-to-end recruitment process. I mean, obviously it has its challenges at times, but the overall process is, yeah, I love it. But from liaising with stakeholders to ensure meets the highest standards, there we go, to advertising roles and contacting candidates to invite them to interviews. Look, each step is both engaging and rewarding, I find. One
Yes.
of the most fulfilling moments is, for me, making the call to inform a preferred candidate that they've progressed to the next stage, and then later welcoming them during the onboarding phase. Recruitment involves a great deal of hard work, but the positives far outweigh the challenges. And hearing the excitement in a candidate's voice when they move forward in the process is incredibly rewarding. And I'm also very fortunate to have a fantastic team that helps navigate those more difficult situations with ease.
Yeah. hmm And yeah, as you mentioned, it is an end-to-end process. How do you ensure that candidates have a positive and memorable experience throughout the journey?
I know it might be quite a generic response, but communication is absolutely key. For
Mm.
example, if for some reason a recruitment is delayed, it is really important that it is communicated with candidates so they don't feel left in the dark. Making sure that the process is also timely is important as well, just to
Okay.
keep things moving and to also be considerate of candidates' time. Um, and I also always try and answer the phone with a smile, which I know sounds a little bit funny. You're on the phone, they can't see you. But I find that it makes a real difference in, it uplifts the tone of your voice, and, sort of helps make the process a positive one. But I also think that understanding that every candidate is invested in the outcome of the process, that makes the effort put into enhancing their experience even more worthwhile.
Yes, yeah. And then just now jumping into the traineeship,
Mhm.
I know you are passionate about promoting traineeships at councils.
Yes.
I guess why do you believe these pathways are so important, and especially in local government?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're very much right there. Very passionate about traineeships and apprenticeships. My experience at high school, I noticed that traineeships and apprenticeships weren't really talked about at all. I wasn't aware of the incredible opportunities outside of university. Like I knew that that's what the schools push for. It's for university. Um, so in my current role, I go to the schools around the region to promote traineeships and apprenticeships at council. And, even now I've discovered that majority of the students I talk to still don't know about traineeships and apprenticeships. So even, me being out of school for a few years, it hasn't really changed much by the sounds of it. But that only fuels my passion for this topic. Um, I believe that university certainly isn't for everyone, but there are so many other amazing opportunities available. And traineeships and apprenticeships allow for people to work towards, like you mentioned before, gaining a nationally recognised qualification while also getting hands-on experience and also getting paid. So it's a win-win situation, if you ask me. And it's a fantastic initiative. And in regards to why it is so important in local government, one reason I can think of is because local government is so diverse in what industries are offered. There are often skill shortages, and by offering traineeships and apprenticeships in these areas, we are able to grow our own, meaning we are developing the required skills and experiences to create a stronger industry and create succession planning opportunities within the organisation.
Yes, and yeah, I know I saw that over 300 traineeships are available. I guess it does demonstrate
Yeah,
the broad range of skills.
absolutely.
And look, you did touch on some of the ways you do promote traineeships in your community, but were there any others you wanted to mention of ways that you do promote the traineeships at Tamworth Council?
Yeah, look, there's quite a few.
Yeah.
So at TRC, we have our traineeship and apprenticeship campaign open annually, usually around July. We do often have a few pop up throughout the year. However, this is where most of our traineeships and apprenticeships are advertised. During this time, like I mentioned, I go out to schools and talk to hundreds of students about, what traineeships and apprenticeships are, what they offer, and also the opportunities at TRC. I also do this during any careers events I go to. For example, recently I attended the Northwest Regional Careers Expo. So again, spoke to the students about the different opportunities. We also promote the campaign through our career development pillar of our employee value proposition campaign, which highlights why it is so great to work at TRC, with career development through traineeships and apprenticeships being a big draw card for this. Apart from that, like, we also post on all our social media, and our staff advertise on the radio, and we also typically, if I could talk, sorry, get previous or existing trainees or apprentices to talk about their experiences at council to showcase real life stories. I find that especially students, but people in general, will be a lot more receptive to real life stories. But yeah, basically we try and promote traineeships and apprenticeships as much as we can in many different ways.
Yes, it definitely sounds like there's a lot of touch points continually.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then once a traineeship, a person does start a traineeship at council, how does Tamworth Regional Council support and develop its trainees to build a long-term career pathway within local government?
Yeah, so look, I think the biggest thing that Tamworth Regional Council does really well is offering support for our trainees and apprentices. Our trainees and apprentices are given time during work hours to study, and our supervisors have been fantastic in ensuring that trainees and apprentices get exposure to different aspects of the industry, to ensure that they are fully equipped by the end of their training. For example, how I spoke about my traineeship earlier, being in different spaces within people and culture, it's a bit of a necessity, I think, for trainees and apprentices. But I also feel like this helps build that long-term career pathway by showing and guiding trainees and apprentices through different tasks. We have a team member in people and culture here actually who looks after all of our trainees and apprentices training, and keeps track of where they're up to with their learning, which is fantastic, and it also keeps our trainees and apprentices accountable for where they're up to as well.
I feel like, yeah, having that support as well, and yeah, it would definitely help.
Yeah, absolutely. Very much needed, especially being so new into the workforce. You've got to have that mentorship and that support, because, it's the beginning of your career, and so you don't know exactly what to do when, things like that. So it's fantastic stepping stone.
Mhm. And now, I guess looking more at your traineeship, how has your traineeship experience influenced your approach to recruitment?
Yeah, so my traineeship provided me a deeper understanding of the end-to-end recruitment process, from identifying talent needs to onboarding. I also learned the importance of recruitment strategies and keeping track of analytics, so we can adapt to the ever-changing market, to ensure that we get the right person in the right role at the right time, because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. And also working closely with experienced professionals has also allowed me to see the value in collaboration and proactive communication. As I think I mentioned before, like, there's so many different moving parts in people and culture. We can sometimes open 8 roles in 1 week. So there's a lot happening. So sometimes or not sometimes, but it's really, really important that we all communicate and let each other know where we're up to. And there's so many different people that are involved in the recruitment process. So yeah, a lot of moving parts. But I also know that, recruitment is not just a transactional process, but a strategic function that contributes to the long-term success of the organisation, and it plays a very crucial role in keeping the organisation running. Without staff, kind of creates a bit of a problem.
Yes. And then, what do you think the role of ongoing learning and development plays in retaining the talent within local government?
Yeah, so in local government, there is constant change happening, whether through policy shifts, community needs, or, technology advancements. Providing our employees with continuous development opportunities just ensures that they feel equipped, valued, and engaged. We also offer educational assistance at TRC. So that means that employees can request, financial assistance or leave assistance even to study a course that's related to their role. So this is just another great initiative to, again, grow our own, and it contributes to creating a positive workplace and improving performance overall.
Yes. Yeah. Wonderful. Yeah, no, it sounds like it definitely aligns well, especially with the value proposition at Tamworth.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
then what advice would you give someone just starting out in a people and culture role and considering a traineeship?
Yeah, so that's a good question. Um, Look, my advice would be to approach every experience as a learning opportunity. You never know where the experiences might take you. And, if you are considering a position in people and culture, just know that it is a very broad field covering things from, recruitment, learning and development, workplace and employee relations, organizational culture, and much more. So don't be afraid to ask questions and step outside of your comfort zone. And I think another thing is to be patient with yourself. Like
Yeah.
all things, growth takes time, and it's okay not to have all of the answers right away.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I guess, yeah, coming into a new role and being new and early person in the workforce, it is all new. I guess even the
Mhm.
routine, the hours.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you've
Yeah,
really got to give yourself a bit of a break and
yeah,
just know that,
yes.
as long as you do your best, that's all you can ask for.
Hmm. And then looking ahead for yourself, what are your goals and aspirations in the people and culture space?
Yeah, absolutely. So currently, I am a finalist in the New England Training Awards. So a goal of mine is to hopefully make it to the next phase of this, which is the state award. So fingers crossed. But apart from
Patience.
that, thank you. Apart from that, as I mentioned earlier, there are so many moving parts in people and culture, and I still learn something new every day. So with that being said, my goal is to continue developing my skills to become a well-rounded HR professional and contribute to our strategic planning to help with the success of our organisation.
Yeah, sounds great. But I mean, yeah, definitely very impressive that you are up for nomination.
Thank
Um,
you. It's been, yeah, that was a goal of mine once I started my traineeship, and it's yeah, a pretty big achievement, and we'll just see where it takes me.
yeah, no, definitely very exciting. Um, and then I guess we're coming towards the end of the Q&A here, but if you could change one common misconception about working in local government, what would it be?
Oh, that's also a very good question. Look, I think that one major misconception is that staff in local government are perhaps slow moving or lacking motivation. I really hope to show the community that behind the scenes there are passionate and skilled professionals really trying to make meaningful change every day. And I think that sometimes the community, at times, forget that we live here too, and but there really is a focus on people both internally and externally, whether it's supporting staff through people and culture initiatives or delivering services that improve community wellbeing. The work is always meaningful and purpose driven.
Yes, yeah, I guess it can be hard to, sometimes there could be a disconnect and yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
just sharing both sides.
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
looking more or less at the recruitment, what's one thing you wish every candidate knew before applying for a trainee role at council?
Yes, so this is something I typically tell students quite often. But one thing I wish every candidate knew before applying for a traineeship role at council is that you don't need to have all of the answers or previous experience to be successful. You know, what we look for is, someone showing willingness to learn, a positive attitude, and having a genuine interest in making a difference. So yeah, whenever we're hiring trainees or apprentices, that's what we look for.
Yeah, yeah. And I guess I just have one question of my own as we've gone through
Yeah, go
the
for it.
Q&A. So if there was a school leaver looking to further their education, and if they were looking at a university, is that something they could do in Tamworth, or would it require them to relocate?
Yeah, so we currently don't have, I mean, you've got online learning,
Yeah.
and yeah, we don't have a university in Tamworth as of yet.
Mhm.
But yeah, we've had opportunities previously for university students are able to come and do some work experience with council as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely another avenue that we can
Mm.
look at.
But yeah, I guess these traineeships and apprenticeships just provide student or school leavers or people looking to change their career,
Yes,
just another
for
avenue or
anyone.
another program without having to relocate.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And there's so many different opportunities out there. And, I really, for not even just students, but for people who are just wanting a change, like you mentioned, I hope people know that, the world's your oyster, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, wonderful. Look, they're all the questions I had for you, but I will jump onto the chat and the Q&A and you see, I think a few
Yes.
people may have sent a few through.
Yeah, let's do it.
Shall we have Charles? Oh, yeah. Hi, Gabrielle. Does careers at council also cover school-based traineeship and apprenticeships? Davika's jumped in and answered that one for us, saying yes, they
Fabulous.
do
Thanks, Davika.
support this. And Charles, I think Tamworth Regional Council has a team member who has won the Regional Apprentice of the Year award for the last 2 years. Evelyn, you may know. You,
No, not at the top of my head. Sorry.
but yeah, we may have to take Charles' word for it. Very impressive.
Yes.
Another question, do you use AI to read a large number of resumes to sort out the suitable candidate?
No, so we have a team. There's three of us in the recruitment space. We have two talent acquisition ladies and myself as the
Oh,
assistant.
okay.
And yeah, we divvy the recruitments out and we go through every single candidate ourselves. So
Okay.
as well with the panel members, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can imagine it's quite busy with the three of you.
Yeah,
Yeah, and council have a lot of
absolutely.
roles. Yeah.
Yes, no, we're definitely kept on our feet most of the time, but wouldn't have it any other way.
Yes. I'll just jump into the Q&A and see if there's any questions here.
Mhm.
We do have one. Did you have the literacy and numeracy test to join the trainee program? So did you
No,
have? No.
sorry, cut you
No,
off there.
that's okay. No,
But
no. Yeah.
no, so I mean, we have requirements that we pop on the advertisement and the position description as well. Obviously it's going to be different for whatever recruitment for whatever industry it might be. However, there's no necessary literacy and numeracy test. We do ask that, if you're a school leaver to have year 10, I think it's year 10 rows or a year 10 certificate to apply for a traineeship and apprenticeship. But yeah, not really. We understand that as a trainee or an apprentice, you're probably not going to have all of the experience, the qualifications. As I mentioned before, we just ask that you show a willingness to learn, have a positive attitude, and just interested in what you've applied for.
Yeah. And oh, I think we've had one more question come through. Hi. What is both your opinions on AI being used to finesse applications?
Do you want to take that one first, Gabby?
Well, I've recently did a course on the recruitment of talent attraction, and I've read both sides, which were presented to us in an argument for and against for both the employee and the employer using AI. And I do see, I guess, the benefits and the cons of each. And I think my takeaway was, I mean, it is hard to know if employees or candidates, are using AI. And if they are, I guess it's out of our control to stop them, which then brings the interview and the in-person skills, whether this be face-to-face or online, just so much more important. I guess using AI to finesse applications, yeah, I think I'm neutral on it. It is out of the control at the end of the day. So I think just focusing on that interview and whether you do skills tests to verify those skills for that particular role.
Yeah, that's a very good point. A few points you've got there, actually. Look, it's not really something that I've personally looked at into depth. Like, I know that it's definitely a topic that's becoming a lot more relevant, I suppose.
Yes.
You know, when I talk to students about, you know, when they create resumes and things like that, you know, I usually ask them to steer away from AI because, you know, we want to get to know the real them, things like that. But using AI to look through and do shortlisting, I should say. I don't know. I haven't really thought too much on it. I definitely think there are some pros and definitely some cons in there as well. But for now, like because we sit on the interview panels and things like that, I think it's good to actually understand, you know, the person that we're interviewing and, you know, knowing what they've already written down. And yeah, I don't know. I'd have to have a bit more of a think on that. But yeah, it's definitely something that we should probably look into more now. You know, it's becoming more relevant in the world now.
Yes, yeah, definitely. And I guess just the transparency with it, I feel like, yeah, it's something yet to be explored, but I think it will come.
Absolutely.
Charles has commented, thank you, Gabby and Evelyn, for today. Evelyn, you have been very impressive this afternoon and waved the TLC flag very high. Well done. Thank you,
Thank you,
Evelyn.
Charles.
And then we've had another question. What are common mistakes candidates make during the interview that cause them to fail in front of the panel?
Yeah, so that's a very good question too. Look, I think that if candidates don't go through and read the advertisement or the position description, I always push for people to read that position description because the advertisement will only give you so much. But if people don't do their research, you can typically find out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's very important that, you know, you go through, do the research first, so you are able to communicate and answer those questions with ease. So that's definitely one. Yeah, there's a few different things, but that's probably the one that comes to mind first.
Yes, and I guess that also relates with the AI. I mean, if someone hasn't done their research or hasn't looked in and explored the council or the organisation, there can be a disconnect or it can show in that interview process. So
Yes,
I think it is important,
absolutely.
as you mentioned, to read and do your research and become familiar.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, another thing, sorry, is giving examples. A lot of people will just respond to the question, you know, yes or no answers, but we want you to elaborate on those things and, you know, provide examples of when you may have demonstrated different things, you know, if customer service wise, or if you had to handle a disgruntled customer or client, things like that. You know, we want examples. So I think it's very important to elaborate on different things as well.
Yes, yeah, definitely. And for your recruitment, do they have a selection criteria that they address for the role?
Yes. Yeah. So there's definitely there's a selection
Mhm.
criteria for all recruitments that we have on advertised. We do, yeah, another tip I like to give students when I talk to them is to provide as much detail as possible and again elaborate on those questions as well and provide those examples because that's the first thing that we read when we go into shortlist. So very important that you do that. But yeah, sorry, yes for your question.
Yes, yeah, and I guess, yeah, putting the detail in those responses is crucial. Um,
Yes.
yeah.
Absolutely.
I'll have a final check if there were any further questions in the Q&A or the chat features.
No worries. It's been some really good questions so far.
We had one more question come through. Does Careers at Council itself offer traineeships and/or/slash apprenticeships? So Careers at Council does not itself. I know that they have the jobs for feature where you can search for traineeships or apprenticeships. That would be at a council across Australia. So it wouldn't be directly with Careers at Council. It would be with a local government. Wonderful. Well, I think that's all the questions we have today. But Evelyn, thank you for volunteering your time and sharing your journey and your insights with us today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. It's been great.
Wonderful. And well, thank you to all the viewers and the audience for joining today and giving up your time to listen. Please check out the Careers at Council social media pages and join up, as well as I know a recording of this webinar will be posted, as well as promotion for any upcoming webinars as well. Well, yes, thank you, everyone. And thank you, Evelyn. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much. Absolutely. Thank you. Have a good afternoon.
You too. Bye.
Bye.